right. In this video, I'm just going to give you a brief overview or an outline on how to do the investigation on resistance. So to do the investigation on resistance, you need to build a really simple circuit that has a light bulb and a resistor. And it only needs one battery. And just to make it easy, I'm going to actually add a switch. So actually, I'm going to move my switch. So as you can notice, to use this simulation, you just have to drag and drop the components, and you can kind of drag the ends around to make it to resemble the circuit that you're looking for. What you're going to do in this investigation is you are going to adjust the resistance, so increase the resistance of the resistor. And then you are going to pay attention to how it is changing the the current, the voltage, and the brightness of the light bulb. So once you drag a resistor over into the blue part, you can click the resistor. And once it has a yellow box around it, you can see that you can change the amount of resistance that the resistor will give. So right now, the resistor has 10 ohms, and ohms is just the unit that resistance is measured in. So if I drag the cursor this way, I can drag it to 0 ohms, and then I can also drag it all the way up here to 120 ohms. When you adjust the resistance, I'm just going to do this slowly. I want you to notice that the colored bands on the resistor are changing. This is universal. Resistors are identified by how much resistance they have by the colored bands. And so a good, like an electrician who deals with small electronics would be able to read the colored bands and tell you the amount of resistance that resistor is. But you also can Google it, and you can Google it and look it up, and it will tell you. So you're going to do this investigation. The first circuit you're going to build is going to be a resistance of 0 ohms. So you're going to wire up your circuit so that you have a resistor in your circuit that has 0 ohms. And then because you need your circuit to work and be complete, you have to completely wire in your light bulb. So your circuit's going to look something like this. Okay. And if you close your switch, you're going to see that the electrons are moving through the circuit, and you can see them moving through, and we know that is current. Now, when we look at the yellow lines coming off the light bulb, these yellow lines give you an indication of how bright the light bulb is. So as the lines get thicker and longer, that is telling us the light bulb would be brighter. If the lines are getting shorter and thinner, it's telling us the light bulb is decreasing in brightness. So I'm just going to open my switch so my circuit stops working. The other thing that you are going to be doing, you're going to be making 4 observations as you increase resistance. One of them is how fast the electrons are moving around the circuit. Another one is what is happening to the brightness of the light bulb. The third one is you're going to get a current reading. So you're going to measure the current. So you have to grab the amp meter over here from the side, and then you're going to just grab this thing that looks kind of like a magnifying glass and just drop it anywhere over a wire. And if I run my circuit, you can see that my amp meter is giving me a reading for current, 0.90 amps. Okay. And then the fourth reading that you're going to be looking for is a voltage reading. To do that, you need to drag a voltmeter over and connect it to your circuit. Remember, you have to wire a voltmeter around a load because it is measuring the potential difference, the difference in energy. So you got to put your voltmeter here. And if I close my circuit, you can see that I'm getting a voltage reading of 9 volts. If I grab this and I put it in the same spot, you're going to see that I suddenly get a voltage of 0 because it is a difference of 0 between one spot A and spot B because they're in the same spot. So you have to make sure that you've wired that voltmeter properly. Once you have built your circuit and you have your ammeter in place and your voltmeter in place, you are going to adjust resistance in increments of 10 from 0 to 50. And you are going to then record your observations for how fast the electrons are moving, the brightness of the light bulb, the amount of voltage, and the amount of current. And that is your observations. And then once you're done, you're going to make a couple statements about your observations that you've seen. And then you're going to learn why these observations occurred. Okay, so that is it for this investigation. It won't take you very long. Once you have your circuit built, just click your resistor, adjust the resistance to the reading that you are, to the level you are looking for. It can be a little tricky. It might take you a couple minutes to get a feel for it and dropping it in the right spot, but that is what I would like you to do. Okay, so that's all for your instructions on how to do the circuit resistor PEOE.